Hello from Southern Ontario. This May 2-4 weekend. It's Monday and I'm just sitting here chilling out in the breeze, reminiscing, telling stories from the Storytime channel. So I thought I might as well start and finish the story of Wahoo's corn roast. Wahoo lived about 5 miles outside of town. I don't know, they must have 10 acres there. Big open field, and every year he had a corn roast. There'll be like 3 45-gallon drums around the property sitting over a fire. Everybody just stop and pick corn all over southern Ontario. Corn bubbling and boiling away. It was quite the bash. And actually the year was 1974, not 1978 like I put in my fabricated fictional story previously. Well, this year the party got really big, and yeah, Spaceman did have the Timothy Leary product, so things were enhanced. It was quite the bash. Well, I guess somebody wandered over to one of the neighbors. I mean, it's out in the country, but there's a half a dozen houses within a quarter mile. Somebody wandered over and had urinated on somebody's door, and they called the cops. Of course, the cops are aware of the party, right? It's a small town, 3,000 people, and another town down the road with 10,000, and there's another town 11 miles down the road with 20,000. I mean, it was a rural farming community, basically. It wasn't quite still a bedroom community of Toronto as such. Towns Acton, Georgetown, Milton, and right down on Lake Ontario's Oakville and Burlington. It's in the county of Halton. I'm pointing at my phone like it's a county. So anyways, Two cruisers pull in from Acton and Georgetown Shared Police. We'd formerly had the OPP. It was just like about right then that we got our own Halton police force, and we weren't using the OPP as our municipal police force. That transition didn't go smoothly. Many a story. Anyways, two Halton regions pull in, and they said, well, okay, we see what's going on here, and if everybody just stay off the neighbors and everything will be cool. And somebody sees the cop car, and everybody had a nickname then in those days. Caveman and Chester were negotiating with the police, and somebody yells cops, and he throws a beer bottle at the cruiser. Caveman had tried to catch the beer bottle, but he missed it. It broke the cruiser's windshield. The cop said, well, okay, that's it. The party's got to be dispersed now. We're going to call in cops from everywhere else to break this up. And anybody who's here is going to get arrested. So spread the word. So the word spread through the party, and about half of the people, 300-400 people there, I'm not sure, it was big. Myself and my buddies were all like 14 and 15, right? So anyways, about half the crew leaves. It's 10 o'clock at night by now. It's dark, maybe 11 o'clock type of thing. But yeah, so they called in backup from Georgetown, Milton, all the way from Oakville and Burlington. And they kept warning everybody on the loudspeakers, anybody here is going to get who's here is gonna get arrested. So the cars are leaving, people are leaving. One guy went over and sat in the tree above the beehives and just watched the cops. Long short of it is, the cops did come in force, right? And they arrested like 60 people. And how they dealt with them, well, they cuffed them and threw them in the paddy wagons, turned on the heat full blast, and drove them all the way down to Oakville and Burlington. So you're talking 40 minutes, an hour's drive. Well, that took the starch out of them. By the time they got down there, they were pretty limp. Any resistance was over. But one of the funny parts of the story is, one of my buddies, I'll just call him Niter. Everybody had nicknames in those days. Niter decided to walk into town. 5 miles. Just loaded up his coat with beers, and he's walking into town, and there was a cruiser coming from the north and one from the south. They both turned on to 25 side road at the same time. ran into each other, got out, got in a fist fight, and the one cop broke the other one's leg. McKnight's, he said he stood there drinking beer watching the two of them duke it out. The one guy breaks the other guy's leg, and then he just throws his beer bottle in the ditch and keeps walking, right? Local headline reads, on the way to massive field party, two police officers ran into each other, their cruisers, and the result being one police officer was injured. That's how the headlines read. I might as well finish the story off. At the same time, there was a local garage that had the contract to fix maintain, service the cruisers for the Halton Regional Police. I guess it's safe to tell this story now. The boys who worked in the mechanic shop snuck in one night, took the owner's tow truck. There'd be one cop car parked in town, and the cop would be sleeping in the police station. They towed his car to the shop, pulled the motor out of it, 440 Chrysler, towed the car back, plopped it back in front of the cop shop. That 440 Magnum ended up in a local boy's Roadrunner. It was all pretty on the QT at the time, right? Not many people knew about this story. And it was the guy who drove the tow truck and pulled the motor out when he went into work the next morning. The police officer had woken up, got in his cruiser to drive back to the main station house 9 miles down the road in Georgetown. Said, my car won't start. So the mechanic, who I guess I better leave unnamed, pulls up, with the tow truck, opens the hood and goes, oh, ooh, what happened? There was nothing in the newspaper about it. Never a word about that. Funny how things work, eh? The good old days. Couldn't get away with that kind of malarkey now, I suppose. Fellow still owns the Roadrunner, still has the motor in it. Yeah.